Okay, guys, we are live. It is Saturday afternoon. There is no football this weekend. There's no Liverpool. Where are we? 45, quarter past two. We should have been 45 minutes away from the build up to start 11, of course, at Liverpool Wolves. But of course, it was all cancelled yesterday, Premier League and EFL. Wow, because of the Queen passing away. So instead of talking about the Wolves game, we're going to have to chat about Liverpool, the predicament we're in. The 4-1 loss, of course, against Napoli midweek. Our form, transfers in or out that didn't happen, might have happened. FSG, if you want, hit the like, hit the share. You know what to do, guys. Get your comments in and let's see what happens. As I say, it's going to be a little bit of a, fun, maybe not that fun, maybe a bit somber. We get a little bit of chat in and see what happens. But as I say, 4-1 midweek, that was one of our worst performances ever. It has to be said. It really was. It was that bad. It was absolutely terrible the weekend. It really was. And I mean, where do we go from here? What do we do? As I say, we should have been talking about the Wolves game, but we're not. Will the Ajax game go ahead in the Champions League midweek at Anfield? It should. I mean, the backlog now is going to be ridiculous. There's going to be backlog amongst backlog because of the Champions League as well, because of the league games, because of the way the World Cup, it's truncated everything. And it's even made it worse now. There's even a possibility Liverpool's game against Chelsea next weekend won't go ahead because that's in London, of course, and with the funerals, the royal funeral and stuff like that. I mean, this could be absolutely chaotic for Liverpool fixture congestion. So what will happen? Was it right to call it off? Was it wrong? That's another question we should ask in the comments. I mean, there's other sports going ahead. I think there's rugby going ahead. There's cricket. There's golf. There's stuff like that going ahead. But the big game and probably the biggest sporting fixtures of the weekend, of course, is the football. When you add up all the crowds going to the matches, it'd be probably in the millions. So I mean, that is called off. But I don't know. Maybe it was a mistake. We shall find out in hindsight. But it's certainly going to be an issue for Liverpool and other clubs that are in Europe with the congestion. The fixture congestion is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Get your comments in. As I say, hit the like, hit the share. We'll stay on for a little while, but what a performance midweek. I mean, two or three players got really signaled out, as you say. I mean, Trent got absolutely lambasted. Gomez got absolutely lambasted. They were really poor, though, weren't they? I mean, they probably deserved it. Gomez, one of his worst games ever. Ever, has to be said. Glasgow Red. John is in the house. How are you, John? Hopefully you're well, my friend. What are your thoughts on Napoli, the Naples disaster, massacre, whatever you want to call it? But we just didn't try. I mean, it was reminiscent of the United game, I suppose, but it was even worse than the United game because some of the goals, if you look back on them, one or two good finishes, but we literally let them walk through us. I mean, I think, personally, you look at the Naby Keita situation, I think there's something deeper going on at Liverpool, but look, who knows? Who knows? He's out of the Champions League squad. Okay, he's injured, he's not injured. I think he's in the Guinea squad. The African side, the Guinea is national side, so question marks there. Do they know something we don't? Ox is out till October, so he's been a write-off anyway with injuries this season. So players falling out of form. Even Mo Salah didn't look good the other night. I mean, Trent's just dropped off a cliff. Gomez was poor. Midfielders were relying on Milner far too much. We're relying on Bobby far too much. These guys are hitting the end of their careers. Maybe not Bobby as much, but definitely Milner. What is he, nearly 37 or 37? So, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of questions there. There's the season last year, the 63-match season last year. Was it too much for them? Did it take too much out of them? I'm sure it had a big say in last year what happened. That 63-match season was ridiculous. Will it ever happen again? Probably never in my lifetime. Then there wasn't much of a break. Some had international duty during the summer, and then some literally going on a bloody tour to Singapore, Bangkok, and Europe, and just all combined to be really tired. Okay, people will turn around and say, well, you look fresh in the Community Shield or Charity Shield against City when we won, but look, even in the preseason games, looked a bit ropey, to be fair. But you can't judge preseasons too much. But definitely injuries are playing a part. There's no doubt about it. It has to be injuries. I mean, if we would have had the likes of a Thiago Matip You know, Nunes was getting sent off for 3 games. That was his own problem, of course. But even in Jota, we missed Jota. All these players are starting to come back. So maybe this break we needed. But I'm just worried about the congestion as well. Then, of course, you go to FSG, the owners. Have they put their hand in their pocket? Have they signed checkbooks enough? Has John W. Henry done enough? I'm sure there's a big part of the fan base that absolutely think absolutely not. And then there's another part of the fan base would say, yes, they've done very good. They've done great tough stuff to the grounds. New Annie Road stand next year, of course, opens up with an extra 7,000 people. Fans in. The ground looks great around the ground. The new Kirby AXA training ground looks fantastic. A lot of money coming into the club. A lot of money, probably more money than we've ever had. I think I've seen a rich list. Yes, I think we're fourth, something like that, fourth or fifth in the rich list of clubs worth in the world. Only United, I think it's United, Real, and maybe Barca, I think ahead of us, something like that. But look, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to get into. But I certainly think like the Matip, Thiago, Jota coming back will help us going forward. And I believe, I really do, all this Klopp out bullshit you've heard in the last few days, it's got to stop. This is the man to get us out of it. We've 4 years left of him, 4 seasons, including this one, to get us out of it. We're in a bit of a transition, absolutely. I did hear him, worryingly enough, mention something about to reinvent ourselves. I mentioned that the other day in the presser. But that takes time. That takes time. Just about to say, mate, that was the worst performance that Man United game. Yeah, well, because United are our big rivals, we don't like losing against them no matter what. But it was bad. It was pretty bad. Napoli couldn't believe it, say what was going on. You could see the surprise in the Napoli fans' faces. Going, hold on, I didn't think it'd be this easy. We had a poor record there. We had a really, really poor record there. We rarely win there. I think 2010 under Roy Hodgson was the last time we won there. We had a poor team. They hadn't got as good a team either, but we gifted them goals. I mean, they had a chance with only 45, 46 seconds, and your man went through and goal and hit the post. If that wasn't a wake-up call, they had another chance. Then they got a penalty through Milner. They had another chance. I mean, cleared off the line. Allison hit, saved the penalty. We were still 3-0 down at halftime. Could have been 5. Could have been 6 or 7, to be fair. So, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, guys. An awful lot to talk about. Youssef LFC. I think we should switch to a 3-4-3. DVD Matip Kanate in defence. Midfield with Trent, Robbo, and Thiago, Elliott, and Fabinho. Salah, Nunes, Diaz. Yeah, I also hear them talking a lot about a 4-2-3-1 with playing Nunes up on his own. Playing the 3 amigos behind Nunes. You could play Elliott, Diaz, Salah behind Nunes. You could have Fabinho, Thiago as a sitting, or even Arthur Melo. Let's see how he is. He had a few minutes the other night, but I mean, he's only back. He needs time. He needs training. He needs game time. Can't judge him on 15 minutes or something like that. But it's going to be interesting. Will he throw in the midst of all this? Do you really think Klopp is going to change formation? I'd be very surprised. I don't know. Maybe. It could be a transitional year, as I said earlier. Maybe this just is a transition year. And we've got to say, listen, we're going to have ups, we're going to have losers, we're going to go ups and downs. For this team even to lose a game, think about it, guys. For this team to lose a game is headlines, because we've lost one league game, one Premier League game, all of 2022. We've lost one game. That was against United. That was the only game we've lost this calendar year in the league. We only lost, 4 games last year, 2 league in the league. We only lost 2 games in the league last season. And 2 games in the Champions League. 1 against Inter, which didn't really matter, and of course the Champions League final, which did matter. So for this team to lose a game and to lose 2 inside the first 7 games, Champions League game away from Napoli, which was a tough game. United away, it wasn't easy. There was a big bounce going on there. But I did say, if anybody was watching it, I did a little pre-show before the Napoli game, that the team that you had out was basically the same team that played against United, and I was worried. I didn't think we'd get out better than a draw. I really did. We just had no energy. And if we go down early, which we have in a lot of games, it's hard to turn it around. It really, really is. Klopp, the only man who can turn this around, says Glasgow Red. John, absolutely. Klopp is the only man who can turn this around right now. Right now, we got to get behind him and the team. We can talk about FSG. We can talk about signings we should have signed, money we have that don't spend, all this type of stuff. But right now, 10th of September, we are where we are. There's a bit of a break. We should have been playing Wolves today. I sort of wanted to get into it, get stuck into it, get a result, get 3 points on the board. Wouldn't have been easy, but that's called off. The question is, will we even play Chelsea next week? There's another problem. And if there's too much of a gap, then even international break, it gets messy. I mean, if Ajax midweek, surely that goes ahead. Ajax in the Champions League midweek, but who knows? Who knows, guys? Yusuf says, I don't see it happening, but I hope we try new things. Klopp said he would reinvent ourselves, so I'm not sure. I did hear him say reinvent, but I don't know either. And the big thing for me with Liverpool is this is the big thing. There's no energy. The energy and the press is what makes this team. If the team is devoid of energy and devoid of press or Gengen press, whatever you want to call it, harrying players, winning back the ball, we are just not the same team, are we? No matter who's on the pitch, we're not the same team. So that's the problem. That's the problem we will have. And we really, really got to get back. We got to be fresh. We got to get fresh players on the pitch. I would have made big changes today for the Wolves game. Here's who I would have started for the Wolves game today, of course, even though it isn't going ahead. I definitely wouldn't have had Gomez there. I would have had Matt and Van Dijk. I would have had, we've no cover for Trent, so Trent would have had to have played, even though he didn't deserve to play the game. I would have played Tsimikas instead of Rob. I would have played Alisson. I don't think Alisson had any chance and can't really be blamed for anything so far. He saved the penalty in that game, for God's sake. And in midfield, we would have had Thiago back, Fabinho, Elliott, who had a decent enough game last week. Only really Diaz and Elliott had anything to come out of that game with their heads held high. I mean, Diaz starts. I would have dropped Mo. I would have had Diaz, Nunez, and Jota. I would have had Gomez, Robbo, Milner, all these players, Salah, all on the bench. They need to be taught. They need to be... This undroppable business has got to stop as well. It's so important. I mean, Calvin Ramsey came in for a ready-made replacement for Trent. Young Scottish, under 18-year-old Aberdeen fullback. Really good, full of potential, but injured. He's only coming back from injury. He will not be rushed back. Pity we haven't seen him. Would be nice to see him in pre-season or in an odd game. You'll probably get to see him in the League Cup and stuff like that, but there's no real, like a Tsimikas Robbo situation. We needed that. You could play Milner there, you could play Gomez there, you could even play Fabinho there in that position right back. But really, we needed quality in there with Trent to get up his arse, basically, and say, listen, if you don't play, if you don't turn up, Trent, we have someone behind us here he's got to take your place. Bang, you're done, you know. There's also a lot of people talking about pushing Trent forward and playing him on the right side of midfield. It's a possibility. I can't see it happening anytime soon, but it is possible. But we need that right back cover. And at the moment, it's not quite there. Thiago's a huge plus for us in midfield, of course. Even when you've seen him coming on the last few minutes against Napoli, and it changed, you know. It really did change. There was a different feeling about around the game. But Fabinho as well, for me, was very... I mean, we needed Fabinho. We needed energy from Fabinho. I mean, Fabinho was so slow going forward. He was doing the moonwalk. I mean, he was moonwalking. You know, 80s style. He was moonwalking. He was going backwards. It looked like he was going forward, but he was actually walking backwards, if you know what the moonwalk is. He's doing the Michael Jackson trick. So we need that energy. And maybe in a few days will work. I don't know. No point talking about signings now. The window's shut. Can't do anything about it, mate. Exactly what I'm saying. There's nothing. We got to stick with what we got at least till January. We got to get through this rough time, and I believe Klopp will take us through. Don't worry. Klopp will get us through. Absolutely. Daz O'Connor in the house. Daz, Liverpool Connection podcast. Check it out on YouTube, guys. A top class podcast. What a podcast, Daz. You pop in if you want. I'll send you the link. If you want to pop in for 10, 15 minutes, give me a thumbs up and I'll send you the link from Texas. The high line only works when your midfield and forwards press, and we aren't doing that, mate. We look knackered, says Daz. We absolutely do. That's what I'm saying. There's no energy in the midfield. There is no energy, and that is the problem for us. Without energy, without press, you know, the whole system goes out the window, and the high line really gets exposed, basically. So, Daz, let me know if you want to pop in. Youssef, 100% agree, Dave. Thank you very much. I like it. People want to 100% agree with me. But, yeah, Daz, it's a massive problem. Absolutely a massive problem at the moment for us. As you say, there's no press in midfield. The midfield was just being literally ran through against Napoli, and then just play the ball over the top, or a ball through, and you're through. You are through. The high line, you've got about 30 yards, 40 yards to run onto. And no matter how, I mean, that's probably why Van Dijk looks down and out in Beverly Hills at the moment, because the ball's just being played over him. And no matter how fast you are, no matter how good you are as a defender, if you're getting exposed time and time again, it must be heartbreaking. It must be demoralising. Absolutely must be demoralising. But Daz, let me know if you want to come in, give me a thumbs up, I'll send you the link. If not, no problem. As I say, this should have been a Liverpool Wolves. This should have been a Liverpool Wolves chat. You know, pre-match chat, you know, starting 11 and all that. But the game was called off. Oh, my God. I know all Premier League games and EFL games are called off because of the Queen and stuff. But I think it probably was a mistake. I mean, he should have let them go. The congestion now is going to be literally, it's going to be like a bad cold in the middle of winter. You know, that congestion you get in a bad cold in winter and you just won't budge. Even a Lemsip or something like that won't help you. But so this will be a Lemsip problem for Liverpool big time, because the congestion is going to build. At midweek, as I say, I haven't heard too much about it. I even heard there was a possibility that they might play a game in Dublin, because he'd be outside the UK and you'd play it in Dublin, the Aviva Stadium, the Liverpool games, but I can't see that. It's too much organisation within a week or a few days. So the Ajax game, is it Wednesday? Ajax at Anfield, that surely has to go ahead. Surely, but I haven't heard anything. Haven't heard it isn't, and haven't heard it is. So hopefully it will. Big up Daz. John is saying, I think we should move to 4-2-3-1. Yes, a lot of people are saying that, of course. You can play the back four. You can play two holding players, or maybe a Thiago with a Fabinho. You play three. You can play a Jota. You can play a Diaz. You can play a Salah. And you can play a Nunez up front on his own. But see, we're changing it for Nunez as well. I've also heard a lot of crap today and yesterday on Twitter saying some Spanish outlet, listen, I won't even mention their name, but talking about Nunez being a flop and it was a mistake spending all that money and stuff. Listen, he's only kicked the ball in for minutes, guys. That sending off against Palace was a mistake. Hopefully he's learned from it. He'll get goals for us. Don't worry. Once we get our midfield moving again, we got to get the midfield is the energy. It's the engine room. If you've got no engine in a car, it ain't going to move. If you've got no bearing in your clutch, it ain't going to work. And that is exactly what Liverpool is, their midfield. It's their engine. It's their bearing. It's their heart. It's their soul. Without it, we are in trouble. So we got to get that back. We get that back. The defence comes back. The forward line comes back. That's what it's all about. Dan says, yeah, rugby and cricket go ahead. Well, they are royalty games, aren't they? I know a lot of people are trying to say a class distinction between, you know, the working man or woman's football, and you've got rugby and you've got cricket going ahead, and the working man's football called off. Well, make of that what you will. But as far as I know, it was up to decision. It was up to the individual. You know, like the FA themselves they weren't told they had to call it off. They were told to make a decision on it. You can go ahead with it or you can call it off. They're probably worried about backlash. I don't know. But it went ahead. Youssef, I'm still confident we can fix this. We are Liverpool. We are never give up. We've been in worse positions. We have been in worse positions. I remember, if you remember, I'm sure Daz does too. Remember back to the 90s and the noughties and the, you know, the Hicks and Gillettes and the Roy Ho Junior, those type days, absolutely. But, you know, still not nice. And because where we are with the club, where we've been the last 3-4 seasons, it's unusual for the TikTok fans out there. It's really unusual for the TikTok boys to be in a position where we've lost a few games or we haven't pressed or we've, you know, haven't been what we'd expected. You know what I mean? I didn't really expect us to beat Napoli the other night. When I seen the lineup, I was even less expecting us to beat them. I knew they were a decent side. I think they're up near the top of the second or near the top of the Italian league. It's always a tough place to go. They're young, they're hungry. They wanted it more. That's my problem with the two Liverpool losses this season against United and Napoli. There was no fight. They wanted it more. The performance is more than the results, if that makes sense. You know, there's no running, no desire. And all that adds up to being, you know, bad and looks bad, and really they have to look at themselves in the mirror, basically. They're on good wages. They're being paid very well, really good lifestyles that they have got, the people paying a lot of money, people that were cancelled to go over today from all over the world, you know, plane tickets, hotel tickets, everything was booked. They're not going to get that money back. I don't think they're going to get that money back. So the players have got to react big time when they come back. When that is, who knows? Are there any polo matches taking place, says Alan? Possibly. The Mint with the hole. It would have been more respectful to play the games. I would have thought they should have played the game with the black armbands, with the minute silence, you know, with Picture the Queen up in the corner or whatever, and play the anthem and stuff like that. Play the game. Okay, they might have got a few boos and certain grounds and more than others and stuff like that. But, you know, and just go with it, get on with it. Instead, you know, wow. I think taking this break is in Liverpool's favour. Maybe we should restart in January. Null and void the season. Null and void the season, I say, but it ain't going to happen. But the congestion's could kill us. Well, it's going to kill everybody who's in Europe as well. But I mean, especially with the World Cup, it's congested anyway. It's been congested anyway. It's being made differently. The League Cup game's not, I think, till the 7th of November or something like that. Ridiculous, where it should have been played late September. So everything is going to be compressed, and this is only going to make it worse. Yusuf says, definitely, but I still trust Klopp to fix it. Form is temporary, class is permanent. I think we fixed the midfield and our intensity. Then we are back. Intensity is our identity. Absolutely. That's exactly what I just said. Yeah, of course, is in. Very patronising, Dave. A fan's a fan. Did I say something patronising? Or have you just misread me? Possibly just misread me. I didn't say anything about fans a fan. I'm not about fans that, book tickets and wanted to fly into Liverpool and stuff like that. Of course, even people that live in Liverpool or just outside Liverpool in England want to go to the game, had their day planned. Even kids' games are called off, I heard, in England. Little boys and girls' games playing Saturday and Sunday. Amateur kick arounds are all called off. So I think that's more patronising than anything else. But absolutely. Devastated it was called off, really. As I say, it should have been played. Could have had your minute silence. Could have had your black armbands. Whatever you wanted to do. But other than that, yeah, it's bad for the fan. It's bad for the fan. Maybe I misread you. Yeah, I think you did, my friend. I think you did. But as I say, we're going to stay on for a little while. We're going to talk. I mean, look, a lot of people will go back to FSG. Did they spend enough? I don't think so. I think we knew we needed a midfielder. We knew we needed something in midfield. Our midfield is the area where we have got, let's put it this way, we have got older people. Is that being politically correct? We've a lot older midfielder. Our defence is young enough. Our forward line has been refreshed. The midfield has been left stagnant. We've missed out on 2 or 3 windows where we didn't do much, I think, and that's the congestion in the window where it gives you too much to do in one window. We knew we had a problem with Sadio Mane going. We knew this at Christmas. Apparently, that's why I think we pulled the trigger on Diaz, brought him in. He's been brilliant for us, and then we had to get a Nunez now. We have to give Nunez time. I think he'll come good, absolutely. But we've got to give him time. And in this game, you do not get time. You can ask Thomas Tuchel of Chelsea all about that, him being sacked by Chelsea. Another crazy situation. So this is what happens in football. It's absolutely crazy. So for me, yeah, it goes back to FSG. I mean, I'm not a huge... People think I'm like in FSG's pocket. I wish I was. I'd be getting a lot of money, but I'm not. I want what's best for the club. They've been very good owners, but they could be better owners. That's basically my stance on FSG. They could spend more. They really could get the net spend up. I mean, midfield was crying out, as I say, for a midfielder. We brought in Arthur Melo, for basically nothing. Let's be real. We brought him in for basically nothing from Juventus with 12 hours to go, apparently, midnight. And I think that was more of a pull the trigger on the Henderson injury. We knew Naby's out for another while. And he said, listen, we've got to bring somebody in. But I think they were happy enough what they had. If Henderson would have been fit 24 hours earlier and not got injured, we mightn't have brought anybody in. And that was the big wow. John W. Henry would have bought his new yacht instead. So that would have been a big problem. So bringing Melo in, I'm not saying Melo might work. He might work. He's got a lot of pedigree there. But he hasn't been playing a lot of football. We'll need time to integrate. We'll need time to get match fit. But it could work. Yeah, great. But not foreseeable. We knew we needed to bring a big boy in, a big signing. I'm not saying a Jude Bellingham, hopefully next year, but that's not said and done either. But certainly needed a 30, 40, a Basuma, someone like that. I mean, him going to, Spurs was a mistake. I liked him. Should have brought him in. We're talking about Lemire off Leipzig. There was another one. Casada off Brighton. There's another one. Apparently, we looked at him, like putting a bid in 24 hours to go. It was just too late, wasn't it? Far too late. I have to go now, but great chat and see you in the next stream. Yusuf, thank you very much, my friend. Hit the like, hit the share. You know what to do. We'll stay on for another while. It's great to have you guys. Get your comments in. If anybody wants to pop in, I'll send the link. Sir Oswald, guys that have never been on, if anybody wants to pop in for 5-10 minutes and give me their take. Now, somebody who hasn't been on before, maybe Sir Oswald, Alan, yeah, of course, these type guys, if you want to pop in, give me a thumbs up and I'll put the link in. You come in for 5-10 minutes and give me your take if you want. If you're shy, why? If you're too shy, you don't have to come in. If you don't, if you want, you can come on. Once you keep it clean, baby. I wouldn't trust our fans to honour a minute's silence. It could be a Hillsborough thing. But we have been booing our national anthem in recent fun. Well, they've been booing it for a while now, Sir Oswald. So I don't think it wouldn't have been, they wouldn't have for the million signs, absolutely. But I mean, you can't stop the whole Premier League. You can't stop the whole EFL for some booing in a crowd. You sort of really can't, can you? But absolutely. Alan, has anyone got figures over on net spend since FSG took over the club? I don't really look at the net spend. I know it's quite, is it 18 million this season? But it's quite low. But look, we know they could have spent more. We know they have money. We know we've never been in a better financial state as we are right now on the 10th of September. There's money coming in from everywhere. But the question is, why didn't we invest in midfield when we had the chance? When we know the science. We us as fans know. I'm sure Klopp, Peter Crowitz, Pep Linders, any of the boys on the staff, Mike Gordon, John W. Henry, Julian Ward, all the scouts know Liverpool's midfield, has stagnated. It's not getting any younger, and it's not getting any, certainly not getting any older. It's getting older day by day. It ain't getting any younger. So we have a problem there. We needed maybe two players in midfield. As I say, Alan Arthur Mello was a stopgap. Let's be real, stopgap. Could work, but it's a risk. It wasn't exactly here's a player, have him for the next 5-6 years. He's going to work with, integrate him into the team. Bang, lovely. Henderson's getting old. He's going to have niggles. Thiago's getting old. He's only coming back from a bloody niggle. Naby Keita is Naby Keita. We won't even have to mention the word. It should be Naby injury. We know about Naby Ox as well. Even Curtis Jones for young lads starting to pick bloody injuries up as well. I'm wondering, is it something they're doing in training, or is it the intensity that's killing them? Maybe it's the intensity over the last 3 or 4 years on those ligaments and muscles. The intensity, it's high press, it's high tempo, it's high energy, it's high stress. Maybe it's just all coming to roost now. Maybe. I don't know. Medical side of it. So, I mean, the midfield needed a refreshing. Young Elliott's in there. Young Carvalho's there. They're beautiful. They're going to be there for the next 10 years. Yes. But we needed someone to come in, mid-20s, international, Champions League level. Bang! That can start games. Knows the Premier League, if not Champions League level, to come in. But we didn't get it. I know Arthur Mello knows all that and stuff, but I don't think anybody would have known about Arthur Mello even 24 hours before the bloody window shut, because nobody mentioned him. He was obviously on their list, and he was the easiest one to get because Juventus wanted him out. He wasn't really playing for Juventus. He was frozen out. So, you don't look for players with 2 days, 3 days to go in the window, really. You should be looking at them, which Liverpool usually do 12 months, 18 months down the line, So, and look at Napoli. They did a huge change. They've got rid of a few players and brought and refreshed that whole midfield up. Zelensky, what a player he is. The forward line, they were dangerous. They were dynamic, full of energy, winning the ball. They did absolutely everything right. Could have won by more. To be fair, we got a bit more control. I think it's because Napoli were absolutely wrecked and they took their foot off the pedal. To be fair, more than us playing well in the second half. It was 3-0 half time, 1-1 second half, 4-1 overall. But, it was just a shambles, a shambolic performance. And I've never seen Klopp so disappointed or shocked. Like, even after the United game, we had 1 or 2 chances in that game where we could have got something out of it, even though we wouldn't have deserved anything out of it. But this Napoli game, you can't say we deserved anything out of it. Anything. Only Diaz with that lovely goal did anything. He tracked back, he ran back, he played back, he took shots, he scored a goal. Elliott was decent-ish. But only Diaz really comes out of that game with his head held high. Everybody else was just... So, I don't know, guys. Look, as I say, we've a rest now. Does anybody know if the game is going to go ahead on, is it Wednesday at Anfield, Liverpool Ajax in the Champions League? Is that game going ahead? I don't know. The Chelsea game in London next weekend with the Queen's funeral, I cannot see that going ahead. I just cannot see that going ahead. So there's a possibility here we will not play football for a while. And as I said earlier, the congestion is absolutely going to kill us. It's going to kill us, the congestion. It really is. Could be playing 3 games a week, 4 games a week. You could be playing on a Saturday, a Monday, a Thursday, a Sunday, that type of thing. And that would absolutely kill you. Absolutely kill you. So I'm a little surprised they called it off. I'm not surprised at the same time. there would have been a backlash either way. I mean, the fans are backlashing for doing it, and you would have had backlash from other people going, well, disrespect. So, I mean, they were sort of caught between a rock and a hard place. But for the fans, it was definitely a letdown, wasn't it? For the fans of the clubs that wanted to go to the matches today, it was an absolute letdown. And I love the weekend's Premier League. I was looking forward to it. Oh, we were all looking forward to it, of course. You know, I think we needed to get back. Maybe we needed the rest, but sometimes it works against you. You know, I think we need just to get it out of our system, make 3 or 4 changes and just go for it. You know, as I said, it would have brought Thiago in, would have Matip would have started, he would have brought Jota in, you know. If Simicus would have changed 4 or 5 players on that team and said, listen, go out there, bang, do it. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens for the next game. Hopefully it's midweek Champions League, but who knows? Who knows? But any of you guys want to pop in for 5 minutes, give me your thoughts on Liverpool's predicament. These are all being very, very shy. I'll tell you what y'all do. I'll put the link in the description so anybody can pop in. I'd rather someone pop in that's never been on before, because it's always good to get a different point of view. So let's see who we have. So there's the link gone in, guys. Just click on the link. You don't need anything special. You know, an iPhone or an Android or a laptop or whatever. Just on Wi-Fi. You might need Wi-Fi, but other than that, just click on it and you're in. The positive is we didn't lose this weekend, says Daz. Oh, wow. Yeah. There it is, Daz. The link's in the screen, my friend. In the stream, you can pop in if you want. Just click on that link. But look, everything is somber. Everything is, you know, screaming. Don't panic. That's the key. No panic. And I'm sure Klopp won't panic. I mean, you know, we've been here. We've done that. You know, maybe there's a bit of a transition and a bit of a calm down, relax. We go again. Alex. But